Hello and welcome to Sam's on Wrestling. This is a brand new series and it is the Power Rankings. Don't ever do that again. This is a brand new series where we take a wrestler, a female wrestler or a tag team and we will give them a score out of 10 in 10 different wrestling categories. We will then combine our scores together to give an overall score of 200 and that will tell us where this wrestler or tag wrestler will be as an overall package. We're looking for the overall package of all time and also to see how low the Great Khali will actually be. We are going to be looking at our wrestlers at their best, but we will take negatives into account. I am your host, Sam, and I am joined by Baby Sam.
Yes.
He is so young that you should discount every opinion he has on wrestling.
I mean, it's good to have me here if you want to discount all my opinions on wrestling.
What year did you start watching wrestling?
2008.
He knows nothing.
I know the PG era.
That's
the golden era.
That's not great.
No.
So, what wrestler, Sam, are we going to be starting our brand new Power Ranking series on?
I'm glad you asked me that, Sam. We are starting with Bret the Hitman Hart.
Starting big with Bret Hart, Goldberg's #1 fan.
Yes.
Sorry, Bray. It's just a kick. It's just a kick, Bret. Calm it down.
Funny kick.
He never moaned at Shawn's kicks. Never moaned at Shawn. Shawn had a great kick.
Well, he moaned at Shawn for other reasons, really.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Let's start off with the rankings. But before we do that, we are brand new to the channel, so we would absolutely be remiss if we didn't ask you to like, share, and subscribe for our new channel. Thank you very much. Let's start with the rankings. So wrestling ability, that is just pure in-ring work, no pomp or circumstances, just the ability to do moves and stuff. So Sam, what score have you given Bret Hart for wrestling ability?
After much deliberation, and obviously I am the expert on this topic, not Bret Hart, I'm giving him a 9.
You're giving him a 9?
For wrestling ability. I debated with 10. I'm going with a 9. For me, I think technically, if we're just talking wrestling ability in terms of what moves he can do, footwork-wise and technique-wise, you don't really see Bret Hart botch anything. He is so crisp, he is so smooth, and he makes everything look real.
He is ready salted, you're absolutely right.
I love ready salted. I'm a ready salted man. And he's
plain as anything.
Exactly. But he might not have fancier moves, which is fine, which is why I've just bumped him down for a 10. But everything seems real, like it hurts, and I just think he's a great wrestler.
Well, as I said, he knows nothing about wrestling. Bret Hart is a 10 out of 10 in-ring work wrestler. Yeah. There is nothing he does that is technically wrong. He has the ability to work with every single different style. If you think about his match with Diesel, 300-pound lump, he got the best match out of Diesel. And then he takes on people like Hayabusa and people like that, and he can have a great in-ring work with them. You say his footwork's immaculate, but his transitional moves, to be able to go from one to that, is absolutely wonderful. And the fact that he can be a striker if he wanted to, he's had fights with Stone Cold, and he can do the technician stuff. Bret Hart, there's a reason he's called the excellence of execution, Sam. I've given him a 10.
You know what? I've scored him a 10 before this, and I've changed my mind to a 9 because I didn't think he did the fancy moves. I actually should give him a 10. Yep. I think I'm going to change my mind and give him a 10.
You're going with 10 already? Have I convinced you already?
Yeah, I've done 2 U-turns in about 2 minutes already.
How very British politics of you.
Yes.
Our next category is storytelling. So obviously this goes within ring work, but it's about to tell that story, bring in the audience, bring in that emotion. So Baby Sam, where have you gone with storytelling?
On this one, I've gone 10.
I've also joined him in 10.
Yeah, it's immaculate. And it's not always about targeting the leg, which is often because he's got the sharpshooter. I mean, Austin's the big example.
Yeah.
But you can point to plenty of other matches as
People talk about how Austin made that match emotional. It was Bret's turning heel, which had already happened. It was only a double turn. It had already happened kind of on the shows beforehand. But with Bret being the way he was, he brought the emotion into that, allowing Austin to garner the support from the crowd. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's very hard to talk about Bret not being a fantastic storyteller.
Yeah. And you can point to the blood, but people forget that actually Austin didn't want to do the blood, and Bret actually knew that it was really important to the story.
Bret's amazing at sneaking a blade job in, that. He's absolutely amazing. I think he snuck it in at WrestleMania 8 against Piper, the same pay-per-view that Flair bled against Savage, but Flair is like, blah, 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 and it was like, did you bleed? What do you mean? What do you mean? Hard way. Exactly. Didn't just do it on camera. Yeah, definitely 10 out of 10 wrestling. Promo skills. This is on the microphone and be able to talk to the live audience. Sam, Bret the Hitman Hart and his microphone.
Oh, I love Bret, but I've got a 6. I've got a 6. I think he's character-wise he's great, and I think some of his heel stuff he did when he was really page Jurassic Backhander was good. But I just watch a Bret promo and I'm never like, what's a great Bret promo you've ever seen? I can't think of many. It's never been his strength, and he'll admit that himself. I've got a 6. Maybe it's a bit harsh.
Do you know what? You say maybe it was a bit harsh.
Have you gone that?
I've given him 3.
Nah, come on.
Do you know what? You said, can you name a Bret promo? And you're absolutely right. You can't name a Bret promo. The only ones I would arguably agree with you is like 97 leaving WWE when he's with a big group of essentially Canadians, Owen and Bulldog and all that lot. But and we always talk about this as one person at their best. And I generally, that Bret at his best is a 3. I really do. Now, if anyone asks him, well, he's a 1, there are people who can't talk full stop. But if you ever watch him against anyone who can vaguely talk, let's say Piper, before WrestleMania 8, he looks like a rabbit in the headlights. He has nothing at all that's going to, like, get him over with the crowd. He got over because of his wrestling ability. He did not get over with his in-ring work, like with promos and with segments and stuff. Generally, the man cannot talk.
I think we've just got different criteria for what 3 is. I think 3 is just...
I think he's that bad.
Abysmal. I don't think he's that bad.
I think he
can carry himself and you don't go, oh, that's awful. You just go, meh.
I go 1 and 2 is awful, and I go 3, 4, 5 and 6 is average, and I believe he's lower average. So I've gone for 3. Our next category is wrestling look. This could be their outfit or could just be how their physical appearance looks. So Sam Bret Hart, the gorgeous man with the sunglasses, indoors. He's wearing sunglasses indoors.
That's really cool, Sam, and therefore I've gone with a 9.
9 for Bret's look.
His attire is iconic. The pink, the sunglasses, the jacket. He
looks
like a star.
A man in America's 90 to be wearing hot pink. That takes some gumption.
That's a real man. That's a real man.
That is something.
And everyone, like, you see people wearing his attire for like Halloween and stuff. Like, everyone knows Bret Hart's attire. It's iconic. I'd just go maybe a 9 because he wasn't necessarily that big, but like he was built incredibly well. I've just gone, it's not quite a 10, but a 9 for me. It's iconic.
I've dropped him down a little bit lower than 9. I've gone for 7 because I'm the same as you. I think the look is iconic in terms of the hot pink, but I think it's the colour mainly that does that. Because he has worn other colours because he's kind of had the darker, like kind of purple type thing beforehand. For me, I think the reason I drop him down to a 7 rather than 8, 9 or 10 is you think about some of the iconic looks that everyone remembers that we're going to rank 10, 9. Would you really put him in the most iconic looks of all time? I don't think so. I also think that he in an era where his smaller is what got him to where he got a chance to be, because everyone was in the steroid trial and he got to be smaller and all that lot. It was actually fine, but as you said, his like body image, kind of long hair. He's a plain Jane looking bloke, sort of Bret, which is fine actually, nothing wrong with that. But for me, I just don't look at him and go, wow. Or I go, oh, that's so interesting to look at. I just go, yeah, that's a cool look. That's a decent look. I remember that look. That's why I've got him at upper average at 7 for me.
So sunglasses for me.
It's indoors.
Yeah.
I will never appreciate sunglasses indoors. Never.
It's cool.
No one is allowed to wear sunglasses indoors. Full stop. End of story.
What if you're blind?
That's Goldberg with a kick. Our next topic is wrestling entrance. What do you feel is it the song, what they do physically? We're looking at their entrance. Sam, why have you scored Bret on his entrance?
So this annoys me because I've scored...
Just Bret! No, Bret just annoys me.
I've scored Bret highly, and that means when we do Natalia, I'm going to have to score Natalia's highly as well. It tricks me every single time I think Bret's coming out with a Divas match. It's annoying.
Divas match?
Well, back in the day.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I know Natalia's been going a while, but
she was Divas, yeah. I've given him an 8.
All right.
I love that tune. It's iconic. I've used iconic again.
Oh my God! Could you Michael Cole over here? Vintage Bret Hart. It's iconic.
Oh
Bret
my! It's amazing.
Am I going to need like an iconic buzzer for you, like a little buzzer? Iconic.
I know. Apparently, I'm the iconics. But no, it's 8 for me. How much can I really say about it? It's just a really good song, and when you think about it, it just epitomises Bret Hart. I don't know. It's a really good song.
I've gone similar. I've gone 7, and I've gone 7 because I'm with you on the music, but everything else he does after that is not interesting. He just walks to the... I'm never a fan of anyone who just walks to a ring. Like, he does nothing. Like, nothing whatsoever. I liked it. He gets to the ring. He sometimes gave his sunglasses to the kids. Liked that. Big tick. And then he gets in and just that. Once you've seen Bret once, and you have the opening guitar going down, that's it for me.
I would counter that with, I think that's his character though, purposefully.
What you mean? You mean lack of personality is what you're saying?
Genuinely, actually, weirdly, I think that is part of his character because he's straight-laced, he's straightforward. You're not going to see Bret going like doing random stuff.
I think it's him as a person.
No, but I think that works into his character, and I think that's what his character
Great,
is.
but it's boring to watch.
He's getting down to business.
It's really boring to watch though. Do something. Yeah. Do something.
It's the music for me.
Our next one is their work as a heel. This is when they're at their best as a heel, as a bad guy. Are they eliciting the exact heel response? Sam, Bret Hart, heel.
I could go one of a few ways on this, but I've gone with a 7.
Okay.
I think he is pretty good as a heel. I really liked his, again, Canada stuff. The fact that he's kind of like a face in Canada, but heel everywhere else. But again, with being a heel, sure his storytelling's good, but it's his promos. Just for a heel, you want them to have a really good promo.
Those 3 out of 10 promos.
Yeah, it lets him down for me, so I've gone with a 7.
I've gone 6. I'm in a very similar boat to you. It actually would be lower, but there was some really good stuff around 97 Bret with Austin, that turn. He's actually really good in that run. His Canadian Stampede stuff in Canada, and he's a big babyface, and the next night he gets massively booed, which shows you that it worked. I dropped it down a little bit actually, because as much as we're taking someone at the best, his heel work as WCW is all over the place. It's really inconsistent because it's good and then it's bad, and then he's a babyface again, and then he built it. I know WCW was a mess, but it felt like he didn't know how to get massive heat in WCW. So for me, I thought his work in the back end of 97 was really good. It was okay when he was in a tag team, but obviously it was all like a singles run. So for me, I think he's just a solid 6 heel. That's what I think. We've done heel. We're now going to look at the babyface that they're listening to the correct response from the crowd. Sam, babyface.
I've gone with an 8 for this one.
Okay.
I think he was always really over as a babyface. I just think his style suits it because he's that, again, as I said, straight-laced, earnest character who will always play by the rules.
No, he's given to charity.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you can see him giving to charity. He really good.
Carries babies to the ring.
Yeah, but it's
at Survivor Series, he met Santa. You know,
there you go.
What babyface do you want?
Didn't run him over. So.
Oh my God, when we do Del Rio's babyface run, absolutely. He was a babyface during that.
Oh, he's going to get a load of
He was a babyface during that. I wasn't expecting Del Rio to turn up in Bret Hart's babyface section.
No, but here we are.
Yeah.
Santa Claus was a segue.
Yes, it's all you needed. I've got very similar. I've got him as a 9 though.
Wow. Okay.
Which is very rare for me to have Bret higher. Big fan of Bret Boring Hart. But with him being a 9, for me, if you look at 92 to probably 96, no one's getting cheered more than Bret. Austin hasn't turned up yet. Diesel's not getting over. No one else is. Bret is super over as a babyface. They are cheering him massively. Then when you go to Canada, I always think you know how big somebody is when they get over with their home fans so big that like they've got no choice but to put him in a marquee match there. Now I know Bret's obviously a main eventer and stuff, but every time we go to Canada, it's just here is welcome. Even if you've been playing as a heel, he has to play as a babyface. That's why Montreal happened, but that's what happens. And the only reason I actually don't have him as a 10, because generally I think, as you're right, he comes out, big cheers, he plays to it, his technician work is perfect, he builds to stuff, he plays from underneath quite a lot, which is great for a technician. Is his WCW work is what dropped it, because, and it's that early stage, he comes out, no one cared. This is the man who was like the most over man in wrestling in 97, the most, sought after person. They've just done Montreal, and he gets involved in the Starcade match with Sting. No one cares, and then he does nothing for months, and he's just like, ugh. So at his best as a temper, I just cannot not look at that WCW beginnings, because obviously it ends like 2 years later, not even 2 years later. So for me, I think Bret is generally one of the most over baby faces of all time.
Yeah,
he holds the new gen together. It's him who's holding it together, with Shawn not far behind. So our next category is probably the most interesting one. It's gimmick or personality. Now, obviously, this has been split into 2 because some people have an amazing gimmick, some people don't have a gimmick at all. So it's kind of just who they are as a person and a combination of the 2. So we're giving them as an overall person. This is promo, in-ring, who they are, what their character is. Sam, gimmick and personality for Bret Hart.
I'm a bit conflicted again on this one.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But I've gone with 7.
I'm also 7. I think me and you've had the exact same thought process.
Because I think the Hitman gimmick with the sunglasses and the fact that he's this also technician in that series, I think
The technician thing being the excellence of execution is a perfect gimmick for him.
Amazing. I think that on paper, when you think about it, is a really, really good personality. But again,
and it works with. But the problem is the regressives were so bad in '95 that he couldn't fully do that gimmick. So it's not his fault. I'm not going to mark him down. But imagine if he had that gimmick in AEW in 2022, 2021, that sort of year, you know. And then with Bryan turning up. Could you imagine that gimmick? That gimmick's main event now.
Agreed, but I almost think it was actually quite good, the fact to turn up then, because it was such a breath of fresh air.
Oh, yeah. It made him the main event.
Compared to the cartoonish characters that you had.
Hey, what's wrong with the Goon? The man with the hockey stick.
On him. No knock on the Goon. I would never ever knock the Goon.
What about Bastion Booger? Can we knock Bastion Booger? Am I allowed to do that? How about Fry Ferguson? It's the same bloke.
I don't know some of these people, to be fair.
And that's why you shouldn't take his opinion. No, I think the reason I reckon if we just did it on that gimmick, he would argue potentially be a 9 sort of thing, but his personality is so bland and boring, which is talked about in promos, but it's boring around stuff. It can be boring in ring as well. That's the thing, like his storytelling at best is a 10. But if he's in a match with, let's say, Skinner or someone like that, it's boring, it's bland, he doesn't excite it. So for me, I think a 7 is exactly where Bret kind of is.
Agreed.
Over or a draw. So obviously we can't put them together. So over with the crowd reactions, draw about making money. Sometimes you can't combine together because of how business is doing. So over or a draw. How over is Bret Hart for you?
Maybe I should have got a 9, but I've said 8.
Okay.
I think
8's fair. I think 8's fair.
Yeah, I think he was really over to a point, but is he like Austin Rock level? Not quite. And then again, you go back to WCW.
Yeah.
It's not.
He was over in WCW. It was just inconsistent booking that made it hard to kind of follow who he was for a long time. Like, he ended up in the NWO.
Yeah, so everyone, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's Bret.
Yeah, like, he shouldn't.
Not wearing pink anymore. It makes no sense. I got him as a 9 because he is, in the new gen, every time his music hits, it's a huge noise. Even the new gen, when they're making no money, sort of thing. And the only reason is because of the money thing is why I've just dropped him down. So it's not WCW because I don't think WCW affects it at its best. I don't think it's such a negative that affects it. Kind of like Babyface and Heel did. But for me, that response that he gets, and you can hear it. You go watch something like WrestleMania 10, Madison Square Garden. He wins the title, they go mad. Now, don't get me wrong, there are bigger pops and there are bigger people, and you're absolutely right, he is on that level below, which is another reason I've got him at 9 for over and draw, but I do believe you're going to do like the biggest stars of the era, he's that, and I don't think you can be a biggest star of the era without being super over or being a draw. So for me, I think because he's just below those big names, the big names, I've given him a 9. And you always should end on a finish. So we're going to end with the finishing move. Sam, what have you given for Bret? We're going with the sharpshooter.
Yeah. You might disagree here.
I've gone
9.
Oh, I'm in a very similar ballpark.
Okay.
I'm in a similar ballpark.
It's an iconic finish, yeah.
Bang!
Again.
I got it.
Intentional, yeah.
That's it. Hang on. Hang on a minute. Right.
I'm being punished immediately.
There we go. We now have a buzzer. This buzzer, I'm now debuting this buzzer now for when Sam ever says the word iconic or as a mark. I'm going to do that now. It's a mark buzzer. Happening now. On episode 1, I've got a buzzer for a mark and or iconic.
I just love the iconics. What can I say?
Damn! I've got him as an 8 for the sharpshooter.
To me, you can tell a finish is good when kids do it to their siblings.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Everyone, not good. Don't try this at home. Jeez.
Don't try it at home. But it's legendary.
For me, I think what drops it down, I think submission moves are really difficult for me to give a 10 out of 10 because some moves just never win matches, even though they're iconic. Take something like the Wars of Jericho. I just never see him win anything with it, sort of thing. And Bret always won with the sharpshooter, and same like Angle wins the ankle lock, so that puts it above all those ones. But you know what I think about a submission move in the 90s is they weren't used the way they were in the 2000s, where people are in them for a while and they're fighting their glory. Bret put the sharpshooter on, they just gave up. And you'll notice it makes a difference when we got to WrestleMania 13 with Austin and suddenly he's in it for ages. And suddenly everyone's like, oh my God, wow. So is it as exciting or as impactful as some of those other most famous moves that we might get onto? You know, take something like the RKO, for example, you know, or even the ankle lock if you get a submission. I'm not sure, but it is a move that people have tried to replicate, and it's a move that people cannot do, The Rock. So, you know, he is the excellent execution for a reason. I love the sharpshooter move, but there are some moves that just make me go, oh, so many other people have done it. He did it the best, but it's been ruined by so many other people. So it's a tough one for me to call. He did it first, so he gets the highest mark for the sharpshooter. So that's our top 10 list completed. Sam, your overall score was?
83.
And my overall score was 76, which gives us a combined score of 159. So Brett is our first person onto the leaderboard. We'll have a leaderboard as we go on, but we've also got more than the one leaderboard. We'll have a main event leaderboard, the overall, a mid card, lower card, the women's, and a tag team one, just so we can split it up. If you want to know what makes someone a main eventer to a mid card to a lower card, it's very simple. A main eventer is someone who has won at least 2 world championships or has been in 2 separate main event pay-per-view PLE level feuds. So Jack Swagger is not a main eventer.
He is to me.
No, shut up. A mid-carder will be someone who's constantly going for the Intercontinental or United States Championship sort of level, and a lower carder is someone who doesn't really reach those. They may have had a go at it every now and then, but it's more consistently going for it. So that is our first ever look at our top 10. Thank you, Bret the Hitman Hart, with your level 3 promos. I have been Sam. This has been Baby Sam. Please like, share, and subscribe. And Sam's on Wrestling. We'll see you next time.